Hello there, welcome to our channel. Today, we're diving deep into a topic that sparks a lot of curiosity and potential for growth: the cost of setting up a pig farm. It's a venture that can be incredibly rewarding, both financially and personally, but like any significant undertaking, it requires careful planning and a clear understanding of the investment involved. We're going to break down the various components that contribute to the initial setup costs, giving you a realistic picture so you can make informed decisions. Let's start with the foundation of any farm: the land. The cost of land can vary dramatically depending on your location. Are you looking at prime agricultural land in a well-established farming region? Or are you considering a more rural, less developed area? The size of the plot is also a major factor. A small hobby farm will require significantly less acreage than a commercial operation. Beyond the purchase price, you might also need to factor in costs for land preparation, such as clearing, leveling, or improving soil quality, especially if the land isn't already in prime condition for farming. Don't forget to research local zoning laws and regulations, as these can influence where you can establish a pig farm and what type of structures you're permitted to build. Next, we move to the infrastructure: the buildings and enclosures that will house your pigs. This is often one of the most substantial investments. You'll need to consider different types of housing depending on the age and purpose of your pigs. For example, farrowing crates are essential for sows giving birth and nursing their piglets, providing a safe and controlled environment. Weaner pens are needed for young pigs as they transition from their mothers, and grower/finisher pens are for pigs being raised to market weight. The materials you choose for these structures will significantly impact the cost. Options range from basic, cost-effective wooden structures to more durable and insulated metal or concrete buildings. Ventilation is absolutely critical for pig health and comfort, so investing in good ventilation systems, whether natural or mechanical, is a must. Proper waste management systems are also a crucial part of your infrastructure. This could involve slurry pits, lagoons, or more advanced composting systems, all of which have associated construction and maintenance costs. Think about water and electricity supply to these areas as well. Running lines and installing necessary fixtures adds to the overall expense. Seeking advice from experienced pig farmers is invaluable. Many agricultural extension offices and farming organizations offer resources and mentorship programs. Learning from others' successes and challenges can help you avoid costly mistakes. Remember, setting up a pig farm is a journey. It requires dedication, hard work, and a willingness to learn. By carefully planning your finances, understanding the various cost components, and adopting responsible farming practices, you can lay a strong foundation for a successful and rewarding venture. Thank you so much for joining us today to explore the costs involved in setting up a pig farm. We hope this detailed breakdown has been helpful and empowering for your planning. If you found this information valuable, please consider giving this video a thumbs up and subscribing to our channel for more insights into agriculture and sustainable farming. We appreciate your engagement and look forward to seeing you in our next video. Now, let's talk about the pigs themselves. Acquiring your initial breeding stock or feeder pigs is a direct cost. The price will depend on the breed, age, health status, and whether you're buying from a reputable breeder or a market. For a breeding operation, you'll need to invest in quality sows and boars, which will have a higher upfront cost but can yield greater returns over time. If you're starting with feeder pigs, the cost will be per head, and you'll need to calculate how many you plan to start with. It's always wise to purchase from healthy, disease-free sources to avoid costly health issues down the line. Equipment is another significant area of expenditure. This includes everything from feeders and waterers to handling equipment like gates, chutes, and loading ramps. You'll need specialized equipment for tasks like feed mixing and delivery, manure removal, shovels, wheelbarrows, or even a small tractor with a loader, and potentially a small generator for backup power. Think about cleaning and disinfection supplies as well. Maintaining a hygienic environment is paramount for preventing disease. If you plan to produce your own feed, you'll need to invest in feed milling and storage equipment. Feed is a recurring operational cost, but you'll need to have an initial supply on hand when you set up. The type and quantity of feed will depend on the age, size, and stage of production of your pigs. This is a cost that will continue throughout the life of your farm, so understanding your feed requirements and sourcing reliable, cost-effective feed is vital. Health and veterinary care are non-negotiable aspects of pig farming. You'll need to budget for initial vaccinations, deworming, and potentially a starter kit of medications. Establishing a relationship with a veterinarian experienced in swine health is crucial. They can provide guidance on preventative care, disease management, and emergency treatment, all of which can save you money and heartache in the long run by preventing widespread illness. Then there are the less obvious, but equally important costs. These include things like permits and licenses. Depending on your location and the scale of your operation, you may need various permits from local, state, or federal authorities. This could include environmental permits, business licenses, and animal welfare certifications. Insurance is another vital consideration. Liability insurance can protect you from financial losses due to accidents or unforeseen events. Property insurance will cover your buildings and equipment. Don't forget about utilities. While some might be included in your land cost, you'll need to factor in ongoing expenses for electricity, water, and potentially gas or propane, depending on your heating and cooling systems. Waste disposal costs can also be a factor, especially if you're not managing manure on site. Marketing and sales channels also have an initial cost. If you plan to sell directly to consumers, you might need to invest in packaging, branding, or even a small farm stand. If you're selling to processors or wholesalers, there might be initial setup fees or requirements for specific certifications. Finally, let's consider the human element, labor. Even if you plan to do most of the work yourself, there might be times when you need to hire help, especially during busy periods like farrowing or harvesting. If you're starting with a larger operation, you'll need to factor in salaries, benefits, and training for employees. To give you a more concrete idea, let's break down some potential cost ranges. Keeping in mind these are estimates and can fluctuate significantly. For a small hobby farm, perhaps with 5 to 10 sows, you might be looking at an initial investment that could range from $10,000 to $50,000. This would likely involve utilizing existing structures or building very basic enclosures, purchasing a smaller number of breeding stock, and relying on manual labor. The land cost here might be minimal if you already own suitable property. Moving to a medium-sized operation, say 20 to 50 sows, the investment could easily climb into the $50,000 to $200,000 range. This would typically involve building dedicated pig housing, investing in more robust equipment, purchasing a larger number of animals, and potentially needing some specialized veterinary services. Land acquisition would become a more significant factor here. For a larger commercial farm, with hundreds or even thousands of pigs, the setup costs can run into hundreds of thousands or even millions of dollars. This level of operation requires extensive infrastructure, advanced technology, a significant workforce, and substantial land.